Hi, this is Kush from creativepadphotography.com. Welcome back to part 14. And this is a short video. We'll be learning about a function called a smart object. Now, let me be very frank, this is not a very important video, but it's still good to know what this function does. So think of this like a kind of a break video because the remaining few videos are going to be pretty heavy and technical. So you can, if you want, skip this video or probably see it sometime later. Should not matter. You can skip, go on to the next video, but just take it as a break. And the function that I'm going to show you here is definitely important, if not very important, right? So let's quickly look at this. So I've opened this image which we used in part 12 where we were learning how to sharpen things, right? So I just open this image again and I'm just going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to create a duplicate layer here. And I will sharpen this. So I'll go to smart sharpen and then I'll adjust these values just like we did in that video. And then I'm just going to click on OK. So it's of course going to apply this filter. And it's going to sharpen this portrait. So the reason I'm not explaining you too much is because it's just best to show you, through the image what smart object is. So okay, right. So you can see if I just hide this or hide this, it has sharpened this. Now let's say I feel like making this black and white. So I go to black and white and I turn this black and white, right? Now, so this is where I want to stop and I want to save this image now. I'm done with the editing. But just before I'm about to save, let's say I see this image again and I feel like, you know what, I wish I could just sharpen this a bit more. I want to have more contrast, a more contrasty looking image. So I need to sharpen it more. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to, let's say it's not necessary, but let's say if you hide this layer, get back to this layer. Okay, then I can just again click on smart sharpen and, let's say this time sharpen it slightly more from here and click on OK. So what we had to do was we had to stop whatever we were doing, and then we had to come back, apply this filter all over again, wait for the computer to do this. So it kind of can sometimes makes it just makes things a bit slow and frustrating, right? And there'll be another problem now. So once I do this and then I put the filter back on and I look at this image, and then now I feel like that whatever sharpening I did for the second time was too much and I should cut down on it. Then what you'll have to do is you'll have to, if you haven't guessed already, what you'll have to do is you'll have to create a layer mask on this layer, and then what I can do is I can just start, I can choose black, remember, decrease the opacity here and just kind of run it on this. So it's just going to reduce the effect. So you can see we're kind of getting a grayish thing because I've written not black because I've reduced the opacity. So we're trying to see what we're seeing is now once we start painting, we're seeing the original, right? So it's revealing this particular thing. So I can reduce the sharpening this way if I want to some extent, right? But you can see that this all is kind of inconvenient, though not too inconvenient, but there is a better way. So what is the better way? I'm just gonna, because this doesn't give you complete control and it's a bit slow, so I'm just going to show you a faster way. It's not 100% necessary that you use it, but you should know what smart object is. So I'm just going to show you how it can be helpful here. So again, I'm just going to duplicate this layer, and this time what I'm going to do is before I open this filter, because the problem with filters like your Gaussian blur filter and your smart sharpen filter and a lot of other tools that you see here is once you move those sliders and you click on OK, they have a permanent effect on your subject, so you cannot kind of undo it too much, so they can have that problem. So that's where your smart object comes into place. So what I can do is before I go on to filter and select smart sharpen, what I can do is I can just press I can just right click on this layer and click on convert to smart object, and you will soon see what this does. So the moment you do that, you will see this icon like thing coming here which shows that it's a smart object. So now if on this layer, on this smart layer, if I just do the same thing again, that I go to filter and I go to sharpen and I go to smart sharpen, what's going to happen is, suppose this is what I leave it at and I click on OK, and the computer does its job, or the Photoshop does its job of putting this filter. So there's just going to be one difference now, which is that just underneath this layer you'll actually see the function of Smart Sharpen, and you'll be able to adjust it anytime. So it was a bit slow today, right? So can you see this? Smart Filters, Smart Sharpen has come here. So if I don't want the effect of this, I can just hide this layer, right? And I can just unhide this again, and it's just going to render it again if I want it back. But there's something more that you can do with this, which I'm just going to show you in the next step. So using a smart object just makes your image editing absolutely non-destructible, that you can come back to something anytime, right? So right, so we've again got the thing back, so I can hide this, I can unhide this, get the effect back. But let's say just like the image before, let's say I convert this into black and white, and now I feel like I needed to sharpen this more, right? So what you can do is just go here, just double click on the Smart Sharpen part, and open this slider again from the same values which you selected, and I can just reduce it from here. So it's like you don't lose this slider. It's not a permanent effect that you've done. You can access this anytime, reduce it, make it more, make it less, and you can see I'm just changing this and it's having an impact on our image. I didn't have to do this for the second time, take a layer mask in case I didn't like something, though you can do that way also. It just makes it more convenient when you have it as a smart object. So suppose I see this and I click on OK, and I feel, oh my god, this is too much, I don't need this much. No problem, you again click on this Smart Sharpen tool and you can access it and just reduce those sliders once again. So same thing with your Gaussian blur filter. If you felt like you blurred something too much, no problem. Just if you have it as a smart object, if you have it on a smart object, it's just a smart way of doing things. So let's, once this is done, let's say if I feel this is too much, then I don't have to create another layer and do all those things. No, I can just go here, double click on Smart Sharpen, it'll again open back to this, and I'll just have to reduce those values and click on OK, and again we'll be able to get back to where we were. So very, very non-destructible way of doing things. As I said, it's not 100% necessary that you use this, but it's just a good tip or good knowledge to have, right? So I hope you like this video. The next few videos are going to be pretty technical and heavy. We're going to be learning about advanced selections and skin smoothing and a lot of these things. So I'll see you in those videos. Bye for now.